The key takeaway from my video today is about how progress over perfection is more important. You need to be focusing on long-term success and continuous improvement in your business if you really want to make it as a government contractor. If you really want to make it in any type of business, even if you want to be a better parent, even if you want to be a better spouse, whatever it may be, it's progress over perfection. I think we get too wrapped up in the perfection side of things. Welcome to this video. My name is Michael Lejeune. If you're not familiar with me, I am part of a company called RSM Federal. I'm one of the owners of it. We help government contractors take their business to the next level. We show you how to win contracts and just rapidly do this versus struggling forever like a lot of people do. I would encourage you to not only read our books, but listen to our podcast and join our weekly Inner Circle calls. There are links in the description for this video that talk more about that. I'm not going to bore you with any of that stuff. I'm going to dive in and talk more about the topic. So one of my greatest strengths has been my ability to outlast others in business. And it's almost something that I feel has been like this thing that just kind of slowly happened to me, where I didn't start out thinking, hey, I'm going to outlast people or whatever, but I just kind of stuck around. And I saw that in my first jobs in my career, where I was staying in the business, and next thing you know, people are quitting or changing roles, and I would just kind of go up through the ranks. And a lot of it was about my skills and ability because I was proving myself. But over time, people would say, well, he's still here and he's still committed and he's still working on things. And then I transitioned to another role and the same thing happened. And I transitioned in business and the same thing happened, where a lot of people were falling out of their business. They were closing their doors and I was still in business. So now, instead of there being 100 people in my city that did what I did, there's 5 of us or 4 of us or 1 of us, depending on the city, right? And it's not that I never wanted to quit at any point in time. It's the fact that even though I did want to quit, I stuck around. And I just said, okay, we're going to do 1 more day, 1 more month, 6 more months, another year, 2. And it just kept working and working and working until finally my business took off. My business took well over a decade, almost 2 decades, to get to the point where we are today. Like, where the point we are today is really 2 decades of really hard work and tough times and little bits of growth, because maybe I'm just slow at what I do. I don't know what it is. It took me a long time. Like, I was having success, but massive success was like this explosion in like the close to 20-year mark. And so that's not what I hope for you. What I hope for you is it's much faster than that. Most companies fail because the owner stops within the first year or 2 and they go find a job or whatever, because they just get discouraged. Because what happens for a lot of people is it just gets hard. And there are hundreds of reasons why you may think about quitting your business, but ultimately it just becomes hard. It becomes hard mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever you want to call it. And those hardships take a toll on us as a person. And that's why most people quit, whether it's a month in or 6 months in, and you're like, I don't know, I'm going to pay my mortgage or my rent, or I'm going to lose my car, or whatever starts to happen. Those things happen and they hit us hard. And that's why we stop, because when things get hard, we tend to beat ourselves up. There's this inner monologue that our primitive little brains have, where we start saying things like, I don't like this. It feels uncomfortable. I'm not happy. I've got these emotions of sadness or guilt or depression or whatever it may be. And those emotions get a grip on us. And when we have those emotions riding high, it's easy to quit, because our brain goes into our core directives. The core directives are keep you alive, like your brain's constantly processing keep you alive. It's spending a lot of energy doing that. But the second core directive that our brain has is to keep you happy. It wants to keep you happy. And when the core directive kicks in, it doesn't like that you're having negative emotions or feelings or anxiety in your chest or stomach. It doesn't like that. And so it looks for ways to pull you out of that uncomfortable state and put you in a comfortable state, which could even be as simply as having you do nothing. There's a reason why people curl up on a couch under a blanket, throw on Netflix, eat a bag of chips, and drink. There's a reason that happens, because our brain is like, this would be more comfortable than doing something to solve your problem, because doing something to solve your problem is also uncomfortable. And so we have to find ways to get out of this pain. And not everybody can reframe their pain. There are two core ways to overcome this. The first one is reframing your pain and saying, I'm going to embrace this pain because I know that that pain is, in the Army, we would say, it's just weakness leaving the body. That's the thing we would always say. But pain is a sign of growth. In most cases, there's some sort of growth taking place, and it's painful, whether it is in a relationship, whether it's in your business, whether it is with your friends, your family, your coworkers, your staff. It doesn't really matter. When we are experiencing pain, there's likely some sort of growth happening. And I'm talking about mental pain. There's some sort of growth that either is happening or we'd like to happen. And so most people can't embrace the pain, or as Jocko Willink would say, embrace the suck. It's really hard to embrace the suck. It's easier to hide under a blanket and eat a bag of Cheetos. It's much easier to do that, right? Or a bag of Pringles, or a can of Pringles, whatever it is, right? Like, it's much easier to do that. And so what we have to do for most people, the second thing is, instead of just looking at the mountain as like, oh, this is awesome, I'm climbing this mountain, we have to look and say, what are some tiny things that I can do that can demonstrate success? And where can I improve in some small ways? So, like, maybe this week I was supposed to make 10 calls and only made 5. Well, next week I can make 6. Or maybe the thing for you is not the fact that you make an extra call every week. Maybe it's the consistency of making 5 calls every single week, because you haven't been doing that. And that's progress over perfection. Even if you don't increase the amount of activity, but you stay consistent when you were inconsistent, that's progress over perfection. Think about going to the gym for a minute. Actually, I went to the gym yesterday and I texted my friend. I was like, oh, I was such a wuss today. I only went for 20 minutes and then I got in the massage chairs. And her response was, but at least you went to the gym again. And that was like the 7th or 8th day in a row I'd gone to the gym without a break. And I've been going to the gym fairly regularly, but I was missing here and there. But this is one of those very consistent. I went to the gym even though I didn't want to go to the gym. That is what progress over perfection looks like. It doesn't always have to be an increase in your activity. Sometimes it is just being consistent with the things you need, you need to do. So I want to talk about a handful of things today. I've got a big list here. So if you're watching this and I seem distracted on the video, it's because I am a little bit. I'm going through my list here. I've got a handful of things that I want to talk about that I think helps with progress over perfection. And the first one is what I've been talking about. Consistency beats perfection. Success in government contracting is not about doing one perfect proposal, one perfect RFP, one perfect meeting with a contracting officer. It's not about that, because perfectionism can paralyze progress. You need to be focusing on the consistency. You need to be focused on showing up instead of leveling up all the time. Leveling up is great, but showing up is more important initially. So consistency beats perfection, hands down, every day a week. The next one is small wins lead to big results. So just like in fitness, showing up every day is where it really matters, because you are not necessarily going to see the 6-pack abs after 2 or 3 gym sessions. It's going to take a lot. But if you are going every day, that's a small win. And you are doing what you need to do every day, that's going to lead to bigger results. It just is. That's just the way it works. Small wins lead to big results. So networking, refining your proposals, building relationships, those are all small wins. Consistently responding to sources sought, all small wins. The next thing is just that results take time. I wish I could tell you Follow this system, and in 3 months, you're going to have this much money. I wish I could tell you that, but I can't. It really depends on what you do. It depends on the cycle of the year they're in. It depends on so many outside factors when it comes to government. And those factors are way outside your control. If you want to take complete control of your business, the commercial market is a numbers game. You can take control of your life and your business in the commercial market, and you can do some outstanding things really, really fast. But in the government space, it is a controlled environment that you have no control over. So there's a timing and a rhythm to how it happens. And they're slow to build relationships. The people that are buying stuff for thousands of reasons. And so you have to understand that results are just going to take time. And it doesn't mean that your activity is useless. It doesn't mean that it's not working. If you're doing the right activities over time, you're going to hit your results. I just wish I could tell you how quickly. And I will say, if you're not doing enough activity, that's going to be a problem. But your success ultimately is going to be defined by your ability to keep going without seeing massive results. That's how your success is defined. Can you keep going in spite of or in the lack of massive results? Can you keep going? Can you keep going to the gym when you pull your shirt up and you don't see washboard abs tomorrow? Can you go tomorrow to the gym, and the next day and the next day and the next day? Can you keep making phone calls when you've made phone calls all week and you don't have a contract yet? Can you keep making phone calls? Can you keep sending emails? Can you keep responding to sources sought and RFPs? That's going to be the difference between success and failure, is being able to keep going, because results take time. Next thing on my list is you need to focus on data over emotions. You need to have good data that can back up the things you're doing to make sure you're putting in enough work. Because if you're not putting in enough work, it doesn't matter how long it takes, you're never going to get there. You've got to put in enough work. You need data over emotions, not this gut feel that it's not working, not a gut feel that it is working. You need data to back up the emotions. The next thing is you need to learn from every attempt. Every proposal you submit, every meeting you take, every bid you lose, you need to learn one thing to improve on the next time. Progress over perfection. You need to learn something from every attempt. The next thing is that your reputation is built over time. There are so many bad contractors in government contracting. It's just ridiculous. They're bad business owners. They're bad employees all over. You can go to any store today and see bad customer service. But your reputation is built over time. If people understand there's a lot of bad customer service, there's a lot of people that understand that you can put your best foot forward on the first meeting, but can you do it in the second, in the third, in the 23rd? Your reputation is built over time. It's not overnight. It took me 20 years to build my reputation. And now I get invited to speak all over the country. I get invited to do podcasts all the time. I get invited to all these kind of things because my reputation has been built over time. I've already talked about this a lot, but staying in the game longer than others is really important. While there's a shift in the market, especially a downshift, people are going to go away, and it gives you an opportunity to rise to the top. So if you stay in the market longer, you're going to have bigger opportunities. And then long-term strategy wins over short-term thinking. So it's not just about having your call plan for the day. It's about your call plan for the month and the year and your targets and what you're trying to accomplish, and having an actual strategy versus just, we're going to make some calls and see what happens. Too many people are flying by that instead of a long-term success plan, which leads me to my last point here as I wrap up the video today, is success is inevitable if you keep moving forward. If you keep moving forward and you keep punching the clock and doing the activities, results will come. It's only a matter of time for you. Success comes when you keep moving forward. It's inevitable. If you like this video, please share it with your network. We'd love to hear your thoughts on it as well. And again, you're welcome to come join us on our weekly Inner Circle calls. There's links with the video, and I will see you next time.